Hey, good evening. It's Saturday evening, March 13th. And just in case you've forgotten, as a public service announcement, courtesy of Everyday Talk 24/7, uh, daylight savings time kicks in tomorrow morning, so we'll lose an hour tonight. Thanks for the care of our government to that, but I'll leave that go. We're talking about why the gospel is so unattractive to so many of our children. And I've got a separate playlist on this for you. It's called Children and the Gospel. So you can collect these and refer to these videos anytime you want. But we're trying to grasp what the Bible has to say about the way we should present ourselves, God and the gospel, to our kids. And I think if we were more in line with what God wanted us to be about, if we used the pleasant words, if our countenance was pleasant, if we were excited to bring truth to our children, I think that there would be a shift back towards embrace of the gospel. And those are the reasons we've been looking at in these videos. I'm looking particularly at 1 Corinthians 13 now and showing how applying what it means to love really is consistent with what it means to nourish. And again, Ephesians 6:4 talks about we should be nourishing our children up with the gospel, not just bring them up, but nourish them up. So we've looked already in 1 Corinthians 13, our nourishment, our care must be protective. Our children must feel like they can trust us, like they're protected by us. It must be something they can grasp. We must not be about seeking our own way. We must be about rejoicing in what God's doing in them and being thankful for that. We must not be people that are easily angered and keeping a record of wrongs, because those things push kids away from the gospel. So where we come tonight then, at the beginning of verse 5, are this phrase, one translation is that it's not rude, that's love is not rude, but then nourishment is not rude, and it doesn't dishonor others. That is, it's not self-seeking. And there are several translations here for self-seeking, which gives us some nuance into the Greek and why it's important. So NIV says self-seeking. The Christian Standard Bible says self-seeking. The English Standard, it does not insist on its own way. The New Living translates it, does not demand its own way. Now, we may not be thinking we're insisting or demanding or seeking our own interest, but please take a step back, look at your children. How are they receiving the word? Do they have the word, our direction, our correction, our love of them, our discipline of them? Do they receive it as if it's fine jewelry, like Proverbs chapter 1 says that it should be received? Or do they receive it as like the plague? It's like a curse that's been put on them. It's like our kids are being forced to wear clothing that is 32 years out of style. And it's awkwardly given to them. And they're being forced to wear something which makes them extremely uncomfortable. See, God hasn't called us to that. He's called us to, we're giving them the most precious gift they can desire. That's what Proverbs says. It's what Jesus is urging. It's the pearl of great price. You see, we're angry, irritated, frustrated so often when we discipline, when we correct, when we talk to our children, and we're not a safe refuge. So the way that these passages are translated here, are we making the gospel attractive? Or do our children think that we're insisting on our own way, demanding our own way? Does it look like that we're honoring God or honoring ourselves? See, we don't want to seek our own honor. We want to seek God's honor. When I'm angry and frustrated and bitter and just upset with my kids, it comes across as I'm seeking my honor. And we need to be about seeking God's honor. So what is your attitude, your tone of voice, your body language, your eyes, your heart communicate to your children? See, Philippians encourages us to think of others more important than ourselves. Do our children think that they are more important than us, or do they think that we are more important than they are? See, if that's what we're communicating, we're pushing them away from us. That's why the gospel is not attractive. Wisdom from below, and James says, wisdom from below is about envy and selfish ambition. If our children think all we want is to promote our own agenda, then they think we're about serving ourselves. Rather, what Paul is saying in 1 Corinthians 13, nourishment, love, is not self-seeking. It is God-seeking. It's not demanding our own way. Our children need to have a sense that we're not demanding our way, but we're showing them the mercy of God. If we're cramming the mercy of God down their throats, trust me, it's not going to be perceived as mercy. It's going to be received as something that is out of date, not wanted, despised. Let's make the gospel attractive. Let's not seek our own way, but let's make the gospel, the truth of the gospel, our correction, something that is clearly not about us, but about loving our children and loving God. And that's the thought for this night. Rest well. Hope you have a good Lord's Day tomorrow. And Lord willing, we'll see you on Monday morning. Have a great night. Bye-bye.